This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, proposed changes for Dunedin's one-way system are proving contentious. The government says lockdowns are no longer on the table to tackle a COVID-19 community outbreak. And Invercargill's central redevelopment is all going according to plan. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. A contentious decision around the fate of Dunedin's one-way system is causing a bit of a stir. Cumberland Street and the one-way going south would both become two-way roads, which has some business owners concerned.
The one-way status of Cumberland Street is proving divisive. Potential changes to State Highway 1 in central Dunedin are in the spotlight following a recommendation from Wakakatahi NZ Transport Agency. It's recommended retaining the one-way system despite a majority of city councillors pushing for a transformational programme to reconfigure the heart of the city. Councillors voted by a 7-5 margin in favour of turning Cumberland Street into a two-way local road with a 30 km/h speed limit.
This is not a council idea. This is the result of a very extensive public process with considerable expert engineering, traffic management, transportation planning advice.
The programme endorsed by council would also introduce a northbound lane to the southbound state highway. Opinions from some businesses operating along Cumberland Street are split, with some in favour and some against the proposed changes.
I'm actually not too concerned about it being a two-way street. I think it'll improve the foot traffic around here.
I think that it'd be great to have less trucks and things like that going down there, a little less traffic, but where they're going to put the traffic is an issue.
I like it the way it is, but trying to imagine that cars going both ways, turning into driveways, again turning into the carver, turning into maybe an issue when it comes to traffic going north. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
Public sentiment has been strongly in favour of keeping the busy one-way system, with 76% of respondents supporting its retention in a recent ODT poll. Further discussion around the proposals will be held in April when Transport Minister Michael Wood visits the city. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A third Dunedin hospital ward has been affected by an ongoing norovirus outbreak. It's forced some surgeries and procedures scheduled for the next few days to be cancelled or delayed. The gastroenteritis causing virus was first detected in the hospital 10 days ago and led to the closure of 2 wards. The Southern District Health Board says tests confirm the virus is now in 3 wards, but staff are considering reopening one of the affected wards. Visitors and patients are being asked to take special precautions until further notice, including not visiting if they're unwell. Patients with gastroenteritis symptoms visiting the emergency department are being asked to tell staff immediately on arrival. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has confirmed there won't be lockdowns when the Omicron variant of COVID-19 gets into the community. She also announced Northland will join the rest of Aotearoa, New Zealand at the orange traffic light setting.
Speaking in Palmerston North, the Prime Minister says overseas experiences suggest if the Omicron variant of COVID-19 gets into the community, it could spread rapidly to many thousands of cases.
Once Omicron arrives, though, we will need to step up further. That's why I'm confirming today that when Omicron enters into the community, beyond border-related cases, the whole country will move into red within 24 to 48 hours. We know from other countries that Omicron can take as little as 14 days for cases to grow from the hundreds into the thousands across the country. It is important to remember, though, that red does not mean lockdowns or regional boundaries, and business remains open. What it does mean is immediately increasing our use of masks, changing the way we interact in hospitality, and reducing gathering sizes in order to slow Omicron down.
Jacinda Ardern says while Omicron is highly transmissible, it will be a manageable disease for most people. However, some people will still require hospitalisation.
While many people who become infected with Omicron will not get critically unwell, others will. The boosters reduce the severity of illness. It means you're much less likely to end up in hospital than if you don't receive a booster. And that will be so important in making sure our system can manage what comes our way.
She believes changing the government's traffic light setting to red will help slow the spread of the virus and keep pressure off the country's health system. But she ruled out a return to full nationwide lockdowns. Ardern also announced Northland joining the rest of New Zealand at the COVID-19 orange traffic light setting from midnight tonight. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Get your popcorn ready and be prepared to spot some local Otago landmarks and talent on Netflix. The romantic movie The Royal Treatment was released worldwide today, and you may recognise some familiar sights. The film features a range of well-known Otago places, including a digitally enhanced version of Vogel Street. The interior of Overston House also gets its moment in the spotlight, while Oamaru's historic district in Harbour Street hosts a street party scene. Larnac Castle on Otago Peninsula is the star of the story, standing in as the Royal Palace in the Netflix movie. The Royal Treatment was filmed in parts of Otago in February and March of last year. There's a lot of high-profile building work going on in Invercargill around its major city centre redevelopment. The CBD project is due to be completed later this year, and developers are pleased with their progress so far.
It's a mammoth effort involving 200 workers, but Invercargill city centre redevelopment is right on schedule. That's the message from Invercargill Central Project Director Jeff Cotton, who is confident shoppers will be able to enjoy the first parts of the new development from mid-year.
The progress all on track. We've got our first opening, as you may know, in June of this year, with Farmer's Store opening. And currently we're standing on part of the car park, which some of it will be opened around the same time as Farmer's.
Alongside the anchor tenant Farmers, 250 car parks and around a quarter of the stores will open in early June as part of the first stage.
But I think for Invercargill and Southland, I mean, it's a major bit of investment that just glues a town together.
The $165 million inner city redevelopment started 2 years ago with demolition work of the majority of a full city block. It's a joint venture between private investors and Invercargill City Council, which is now proposing to invest a further $7.5 million into the project, along with a short-term loan. O'Donnell says the council wants the money to be able to adapt to any surprises.
At this stage, we're still on budget and on time. But hey, we've got 5 months to go and the world's a quite funny place.
The full project is expected to be completed and open to the public by Christmas. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. COVID traffic light restrictions mean changes to AMP shows, and the planned sale of heritage railway assets concerns some members of the Dunedin community.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi there, guess who? You recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Every day the team at Gillian's supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. Next month's Maniatoto AMP show is being pared back due to the logistics around checking COVID-19 vaccine passes at the showground's 7 entry points. The region's AMP show was last held in 2020 after being cancelled last year. A partial event will go ahead in mid-February using the Maniatoto Park Stadium for the Industrial and Horticultural Division categories. This includes sections for baking, cut flowers, fruit and vegetables, jams and preserves, and woolen goods. Meanwhile, the annual Otago Tairi AMP show is set to go ahead this weekend, but will have no crowds with the public unable to attend. Organisers say the COVID-19 traffic light system means the show has to be restricted to a horse event, a paddock to plate event and wool judging for competitors and volunteers only. The chairman of Dunedin Railways has hit back at backlash to the planned sale of Heritage Railway assets. It follows a letter written by the Otago Excursion Train Trust to city councillors and the railway's chairman, claiming the reasons for the sale weren't valid.
Dunedin Railways chairman Keith Cooper, seen here announcing the resumption of tourist train services, has told the ODT Dunedin Railways is not a museum. In the request for proposals, he claims the 6 wooden-clad 47-foot carriages aren't fit for use on Kiwi Rail tracks because they're of a lighter construction. However, former long-serving Tidy Gorge employee Grant Craig doesn't believe the carriages are surplus to requirements.
They have decided that there's only a certain amount of carriages they want to use, so these are, they recommend, a surplus, but they're only surplus from the model that they're operating.
Among the items on offer are 6 wooden-clad carriages, a guard's van and a couple of diesel-electric locomotives. Cooper insists selling the surplus assets won't mean any reduction in future services.
Well, we contest that because our business plan, which the City Council actually has had since last year, specifies our use of these wooden cars in our business plan. And we need the whole assets retained if we take over the railway, for example.
The Dunedin City Council-owned company announced the start of the sale process on Tuesday, but councillors aren't due to meet until the end of this month. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Air Milford is preparing to offer another round of scenic flights following a very successful trial over the summer. Last month, the company trialled a pair of 2.5-hour flights, offering a scenic journey over Southland and Fiordland. The company says the feedback was so positive, it's offering 2 more flights departing from Invercargill Airport at the end of this month. Due to strong demand, 2 of their planes will be operating on both the trips. Further flights over Rakiura Stewart Island and the Titi Muttonbird Islands are also planned for April. Just days after a massive underwater volcanic eruption and tsunami near Tonga, the people of Christchurch are gearing up to help. Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dazille has led the call, encouraging people to pay back the kindness Tonga showed the city after the earthquakes by donating funds to the Red Cross.
Tongan community leaders and church elders in the city are meeting tomorrow to assess what is needed to help family and friends over in Tonga. Many here are still coming to terms with the disaster.
We feel so grateful as a Tongan community here in Christchurch of what the mayor and also the people here in Christchurch wanted to do as a return to the favour to our homeland.
Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell says Tonga, one of the Pacific's poorest nations, raised a massive $705,000 for the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Fund, and now is the city's chance to repay that. The goal now for Tongan communities in the South Island is to make sure that essentials are being sent to the island group.
What we're thinking right now is the first thing in that to do is to supply what's really important, which is clean water, dry food, and we understand that a lot of the crops in that back home is damaged due to ashes and stuff like that, and the food in that would be a problem, and clean water at the moment.
While the first international aid arrived in the country today, Kiwis are already stepping up.
So we launched our appeal only 3 days ago, and already we have had a huge response. Over 1,500 people from all around New Zealand and across the world have donated. In Tonga today, there's a really great team on the ground already. We have around 70 volunteers who are out there in the community, and they have supplies to support around 1,200 families with their immediate emergency needs.
The Red Cross has details on how people can contribute to the relief fund on their website and on Facebook. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Coming up next on the South Today, find out who are the 8 new snow sport athletes named to represent New Zealand at this year's Beijing Winter Olympics. And we take a look at tomorrow's weather for you.
Hi, I'm Eden Carson from the Otago Sparks, and we'd love to see all your support down here at the Uni Oval this summer.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Welcome back. 8 more snow sport athletes have been named in the New Zealand team for this year's Beijing Winter Olympics. CEO of Snow Sports New Zealand, Nick Kavanagh, says the country is sending an incredibly strong team to compete on the world's biggest stage.
A total of 13 snow sports athletes will now represent the country in Beijing next month. 16-year-old Gustav Legnowski is the youngest member of the team, tackling the freestyle halfpipe. He's been named alongside fellow Wanaka athletes Ben Harrington and Miguel Porteous, whose older brother Nico was already named in the team late last year. Meanwhile, Queenstown's Tian Collins will compete in the men's snowboard slopestyle and big air events, with Cool Wakashima competing in the same events in the women's competition.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Opinions are divided from Cumberland Street business owners around proposed changes to Dunedin's one-way system. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says lockdowns are no longer on the table to tackle a possible Omicron community outbreak. And the Invercargill Central redevelopment is going according to plan, with the first stage due to open for business in June. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Jo Simpson.
Hi. The number of parents homeschooling and their children has skyrocketed since COVID, including the South with an increase of more than 40%. And skiing is in Gustav Legnowski's blood. His story is a classic Wanaka tale of a kid growing up in the slopes who harbours an ambition to go to the Olympics at the age of 16. And a tiger shellfish industry is on high alert as marine heatwave starts to take effect.
That could be disastrous for some.
It could.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT, and now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of Kote Te Uno sculpture by Aisha Green in the Octagon. Looking at the situation, a cool southwesterly airflow will remain tomorrow and ease on Saturday as a large anticyclone moves slowly across the South Tasman Sea. The weather should stay fine through the weekend and become warmer by Monday. Starting in the northwest of the South Island, warm temperatures with a bit of cloud for both centres here. 21 degrees for Greymouth and Westport with a high of 19. and it's similar for Nelson and Blenheim, with partial cloud and 19 degrees for Nelson, while Blenheim reaches 22. The mild weather with a bit of cloud continues in Canterbury too, with 18 degrees for Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton both on 19. Looking at the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all in for fresh southwesterlies, with the weather becoming fine and highs of about 15 or 16 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra can all expect moderate southwesterlies with clear skies and a high of 18 degrees. And it's similar for Te Anau, with fresh southwesterlies, mostly fine weather and a high of 15. Moving to the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru can expect moderate southwesterlies, clear skies and a high of 18 degrees. Oamaru, fresh southwesterlies with some cloud and a high of 16 degrees. Inland at Twizel and Amarama, moderate southwesterlies with clear skies and a high of 19. In Dunedin, there'll be showers tonight with gusty cold southwesterlies and an overnight low of 12 degrees. It'll be mostly cloudy with showers tomorrow. The showers are set to be heavy in the morning, easing from early afternoon and clearing late in the day. Look out for strong gusty cold southwesterly winds decreasing from evening, a high of 15 and a low of 10. And it's still mostly cloudy on Saturday, but the cloud will start breaking and some sunny periods develop during the afternoon. There'll be breezy southwesterlies but milder temperatures, a high of 18 and a low of 11. And in Invercargill, it'll be cloudy with showers and fresh southwesterlies tonight with an overnight low of 10 degrees. Showers will start clearing during tomorrow morning, with sunny periods increasing during the afternoon, and the fresh cold southwesterlies will start decreasing. A high of 15 and a low of 9. And it's mostly fine on Saturday with a mix of sunny periods and some cloud, followed by cool moderate southwesterlies, looking at a high of 16 and a low of 9. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pou, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.